They say that those who cheat once will cheat again, and I've learned this lesson the hard way. For cheaters, love forever and until death only exists in pretty words and empty promises. When I first met Sarah at a mutual friend's barbecue in Austin, Texas, I was already living what most would consider the American dream. At 32, I had worked my way up to a senior position at a tech company, owned a beautiful 3-bedroom house in a desirable neighborhood, and drove a reliable BMW. I was the complete package of an enviable bachelor, financially stable, emotionally ready for commitment, and genuinely looking for someone to share my life with. Sarah was 26, with flowing blonde hair, bright green eyes, and a smile that could light up any room she entered. She worked as a marketing coordinator at a local firm and had this infectious energy that drew people to her like moths to a flame. A beautiful and enterprising girl like her wouldn't let such an opportunity slip by. So Sarah did everything to make me fall head over heels for her. Within 3 months, we were inseparable, and by 6 months, I was proposing to her on the beach during our weekend trip to Galveston. The wedding followed quickly. She wanted a simple courthouse ceremony, which I thought was charmingly modest. At the time, and to tell the truth, I was completely, utterly, desperately in love with her. Besides being cheerful, beautiful, and smart, Sarah turned out to be a wonderful homemaker with an eye for interior design. Not even 2 months had passed since we started living together in my house, and the place was completely transformed. My young wife hung elegant cream-colored curtains from Pottery Barn, ordered a matching dinnerware set in a soft blue pattern, and planted colorful tulips and daffodils by the front porch. She rearranged the furniture, added cozy throw pillows, and even convinced me to get a golden retriever puppy named Max. The house finally felt like a real home instead of just a bachelor pad. Family life was gradually settling into a comfortable rhythm. I was so happy with our domestic bliss that I decided to make a career change to spend more time with my beloved wife. I left my demanding position at the tech company and took a less stressful job at a smaller firm in town. The pay was slightly less, but they provided me with a company car, a practical Honda Accord. So Sarah could use my BMW. She'd take it out several times a week to meet her girlfriends at trendy coffee shops like Starbucks or the Daily Grind, or to browse the boutiques at the upscale Barton Creek Square Mall. What impressed me most was another undeniable advantage of my young wife. She turned out not to be a spendthrift like some women I'd dated before. The maximum she'd bring back from her shopping adventures was perhaps a pair of designer sunglasses from Nordstrom, a small Coach purse, or a delicate silk scarf. Never anything extravagant or expensive. I was thrilled that I'd found a woman who appreciated the finer things but wasn't materialistic. Looking back now, I should have been suspicious of my wife's unusual thriftiness rather than rejoicing over it. But I was completely blinded by love, wearing rose-colored glasses, and suspected absolutely nothing. I trusted her completely and believed we had the perfect marriage that all our friends envied. The truth began to unravel on a sunny Saturday morning in late September. It was my day off, and Sarah had gone out with her girlfriends, Jessica and Amanda, for what she called their weekly girls' brunch and shopping therapy session at the Domain. They usually spent the entire day together, trying on clothes, getting manicures, and gossiping over mimosas. I decided to use the quiet time to do some overdue car maintenance. I wanted to check the oil level in my BMW, which was a necessary precaution because the car had been sitting in our garage for almost a month. I had been using the company car for work, and Sarah had been driving her own little Honda Civic that she'd bought recently, claiming she didn't want to put too many miles on my nice car. I walked into the garage wearing my old jeans and a Texas Longhorns t-shirt, grabbed a clean cloth from my workbench, and approached the BMW. As I reached for the hood release, something caught my eye that made my blood run cold. The layer of dust that had accumulated on the car's hood over the past month was partially wiped off, creating unmistakable patterns that I recognized with horrifying clarity. In the center of the hood, there was a clear outline of a human body. Closer to the windshield, 2 distinct handprints were visible, and 2 more handprints appeared on both sides of the hood, almost directly over the headlights. My heart started pounding as the terrible realization hit me. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to understand what had happened on my car's hood very recently. Someone had been using my BMW as a bed for their intimate activities. My wife and some other man had been having sex right there on the hood of the car I'd bought with my hard-earned money, in the garage of the house I'd worked so hard to afford. The discovery hit me like a freight train. That's how I realized my wife was cheating on me and doing it in the most disrespectful way possible. How angry I was at that moment, I can't even begin to describe the rage that consumed me. My hands were shaking, my vision was blurred with fury, and for the first few minutes, I had violent thoughts that scared even me. I wanted to confront her immediately, to scream, to demand answers, but she wasn't even home to face the consequences of her betrayal, all my anger, all the violets and pansies. Then I tore down the curtains in the house that she had ordered. I didn't want to see anything made by her hands. I made a small mess in the house, went to the storage room, got our travel suitcases, and packed her things. Sarah came home about an hour later, and seeing that all her flowers had been uprooted, she flew into the house screaming, "Are you drunk? Or what? What's going on here?" Then she saw the suitcases in the center of the room and immediately fell silent. "Honey, what happened? What happened is that you turned out to be a slut, and now you're getting out of my house to wherever you want," I answered as calmly as possible. "Are you fucking crazy?" she shrieked. "Did your friends tell you something about me? What's there to tell about you when you didn't even think to wipe down the car after your love affairs?" I laughed openly. She looked so pathetic in her justifications. "What are you talking about? You're completely insane," she stammered, realizing where she'd been caught. Then she suddenly burst into tears, sat on the couch, and fell silent, apparently expecting me to talk to her. "Get out before I drag you out by your hair," I said. "Do you need this shame?" She shook her head awkwardly, gathered her things, and trudged outside. She walked a few steps, sat on her suitcase, and started calling someone. Through the window, I saw a car pull up. A guy got out, helped load everything into the trunk, but at the end, he hugged her and kissed her. Up until that moment, I had hoped that my wife had only cheated on me once. But now, when I saw her lover, I called Sarah's father and told him everything. I also informed him that I was filing for divorce. Since all the property belonged to me before marriage, there was no division. We simply parted ways like ships in the sea. But how I longed for her. My friends supported me a lot. They came over every evening just to chat. Otherwise, I probably would have gone crazy. Thank God for social media, I found out she got married again. Not even 2 months had passed after our divorce. I honestly thought she might be pregnant. To be honest, I desperately wanted to somehow get revenge on both of them, on her for the betrayal, and on him for sleeping with a married woman. I still couldn't forgive that after what they did. They were still happy. Everything was good for my ex, again a house again, a husband again, and even a job at some fancy beauty salon that her new husband had arranged for her. But still, I was given the opportunity to restore justice and punish this couple. The thing is literally 6 months after my ex-wife's wedding to her lover. My friend Jake met Sarah at a nightclub and was very surprised when he saw her kissing some guy. We had studied her social media photos together, so my friend immediately realized that my ex was making out with someone who wasn't her current husband. He filmed everything and sent it to me with the comment, "Use at your discretion." I thought about how to proceed. After all, no matter what a bastard that guy was who stole Sarah from me, the cycle of betrayal needed to be stopped. So I found his profile on social media too and suggested we meet. I wrote that I had information about Sarah. He responded very rudely and frankly told me to fuck off, telling me not to interfere in their relationship. Well, if that's how it is, then so be it. Within seconds, the video of Sarah with that guy was featured on his page. An hour later, the deceived husband deleted the video, but reposts started spreading across the network. Our city is small, and news travels fast. A week later, I learned that the young family had broken up, and moreover, this guy made sure Sarah was fired from her job. According to rumors, my ex-wife's parents also stopped communicating with her, unable to bear the shame their daughter had brought them. Sarah herself wrote to me once, suggesting we meet, but I just laughed. What the hell do I need that for after everything that happened?